There is growing backlash for the 7 GOP senators who found former President Donald Trump guilty of the charge of inciting an insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. 2 of them have been formally rebuked by their own state parties, and that includes North Carolina Senator Richard Burr, who, by a unanimous vote, was censured last night. Now, the vote is mostly symbolic, and Burr already announced in 2016 he would retire from politics and not seek re-election in 2022.
NewsNation anchor Joe Dolan sat down with the chairman of the GOP there in North Carolina, Michael Whatley, about what the vote means and the impact on the party.
So the senator said, my party has chosen loyalty to one man over the core principles of the Republican Party and the founders of our great nation. How does any of this, Michael, help the party, the censure?
I had conversations with over 100 party leaders and activists and officials all across the state over the course of Saturday, Sunday, and Monday prior to the vote. And the overwhelming consensus from folks was that we needed to go ahead and put out a statement. And I wanted to make sure that that statement was coming from the party as a whole.
Is there any room for disagreement in the North Carolina Republican Party?
Absolutely. Look, we are a big tent party, and I think it's very important when you look at North Carolina to understand that we have areas like Charlotte and Raleigh. We have deep rural areas. We have a lot of suburbs across the state. And there's a lot of different voices in the North Carolina Republican Party. And the people across this party do strongly support Donald Trump. He carried the state with 2.75 million votes, which is an all-time record. And the enthusiasm that he brought to this party, the number of registered Republicans he brought to the party and votes that he brought to the polls are very, very important. And he continues to command strong support across the state.
Utah's 2 senators, Romney and Lee, split on this vote. Michael, the Utah Republican Party took a different approach than you did in North Carolina, saying on Monday, essentially, there is power in our differences as a political party. Is that not the case in North Carolina?
I think it is, but I will tell you that throughout the course of Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I spoke with well over 100 officials and activists all across the state, and to a person, they were very upset with the vote that was cast. And Richard Burr has been a leader in the North Carolina Republican Party for over 25 years. He's going to continue to be a leader as long as he serves. And we wanted very specifically to tailor our concerns and our resolution to focus solely on that one vote and not to diminish his role as a very important member of the Republican Party and representing North Carolina up in the United States Senate.
So there's been talk that the president's daughter-in-law could run for Senator Burr's seat. Have you heard anything more about that?
Well, I've not talked to Laura since the election. I know that she has been looking at it. I've talked to a number of people that she has talked to and have talked to the president as well. And look, I think that if Laura were to get into this race, she would command immediate statewide attention. She would have a lot of support from one end of the state to the other.
We appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.